Schiff brought to justice.
I would love to see him brought to justice. I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice. He is a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens, but Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
President Trump is targeting Democrat Senator Adam Schiff over possible mortgage fraud. Fox obtained a criminal referral sent to the Justice Department from the Federal Housing Finance Agency director. It cites actions that look like fraud. The allegation, Mr. Schiff appears to have falsified records to get a favorable loan rate. Federal housing investigators found Schiff engaged in a sustained pattern of possible occupancy misrepresentation on 5 Fannie Mae loans. They involve 2 homes owned by Schiff, one in California, one in Maryland. Schiff signed an affidavit in 2011 certifying the Maryland house as his primary residence. However, he was a California congressman at the time. Schiff responded to President Trump's attack.
So the president today is accusing me of fraud, and the basis of his accusation is that I own a home in Maryland and I own a home in California. Big surprise. Members of Congress, almost all of them own more than one home or rent more than one home because we're required to be on both coasts. So he is using my ownership of 2 homes to make a false claim of mortgage fraud.
Maybe he didn't read the affidavit or the charging form against him. That's not why he's in trouble. He's in trouble for using one residence over the other to get a lower loan rate. Knowing that that was wrong, well, we'll have to find out if that's what he knew or didn't know, but that's what he did. This from a former federal prosecutor.
You can't claim residency in both California and Maryland. So he's got a lot of issues because it seems like however this breaks down, it looks like he's saying one thing here, one thing there. He can't be a resident of both places. So it's either was he lying in California or lying in Maryland to get more favorable loan terms.
He said it better than I did. In focus, Republican Senator Ron Johnson of the great state of Wisconsin, member of the Senate Homeland Security, Finance, and Budget Committees. Great to see you, Senator Johnson. First of all, what do you say about Adam Schiff now? And he says, oh, Trump's just going after him because he owns multiple houses and that most of you own multiple houses. That's not even the crime that he's alleged to have committed, but whatever.
Well, again, he's evading the main point here. Did he or did he not list both residences as primary residences? And what's the result of that? I mean, I would think this ought to be a pretty cut and dry investigation. There's documentation proving that he did it or not, but in his answer to the question, he completely evaded the main point. And again, I don't know the exact benefit to him of claiming them both as primary. Politically, I suppose it looks bad if he's claiming Maryland as his primary residence. Sounds like that's what he is his primary residence. He's pretty much a swamp creature. And I also know that he was the leading Democrat in Congress that pushed the false narrative of Trump collusion with Russia, lied to the American public, helped put America through 2 years of turmoil because of his lies, because of that false narrative. So I'm not a fan of the guy.
Yeah. All right, we'll move to the Senate. Republicans moved President Trump's multi-billion-dollar clawback package. That's codifying DOGE's $9 billion through procedural hurdles, and a final vote is expected later today. It would cut billions in federal spending that, again, the Department of Government Efficiency deemed a waste of taxpayer money. It includes cuts to public broadcasting and foreign projects like DEI training in Burma and several others. Senate Republicans will likely remove $400 million in cuts from the bill. Those funds were designated to international AIDS prevention efforts. Senator Susan Collins is one of 3 Republicans who voted against that bill, or that part of the bill. The latest procedural vote was where we saw them vote no. Here's Senator Eric Schmidt, who was with me yesterday.
We're working with Senator Collins, as you know, had some questions that's out there, and a couple other senators. We want to make sure we're answering all their questions. But at the end of the day, I'm confident that we're going to get there. This is just a big part of the agenda. And again, I think a really important part of what people voted for. They saw the abuse of the Biden administration. They saw this woke ideology that's been exported across the world with their money, and they want us to take action on it. And we've got a chance to prove that we've got, again, the intestinal fortitude to go do that, and we've got to do it this week.
Look, Senator, I know you can't often make everybody happy, but even the Vice President, J.D. Vance, said, well, should he be needed, he is available to step in to break a tie. Is it that close?
It may be, but Harris, let me put this in perspective. This year we'll spend about $7,000 billion. That's what $7 trillion is. We're talking about reducing that by $9 billion. 0.12% of the $7,000 billion. The last 4 years, now the fifth year, we'll probably incur a deficit of $1,900 billion per year. So if we can't reduce spending by a measly $9 billion, and we start focusing on all these little issues that, again, they get blown up. My guess is the administration, in terms of making these cuts, will make them so they really have very little impact on people. I keep saying, when you go from $4.4 trillion to $7 trillion, I have to believe there's literally hundreds of billions of dollars of spending that if we eliminated it, nobody would even notice it. But again, because we have to do this through a rescission package, you start focusing on $9 billion. And listen, $9 billion is still a lot of money.
Yes.
But in comparison to $1,900 billion of deficit, it's measly.
All right. Well, we'll see where you move forth. I thought everybody agreed on DOGE. I mean, that was part of what the president ran on. This will be interesting. I love that you broke it down, though. You never hear anybody say $7,000 billion to $7 trillion. All right. A new investigation. Senator, it's actually yours. And it's zeroing in on President Biden's final days in office and whether he was even aware of major decisions being made with his name on them. Thousands of internal emails could reveal whether staffers signed off on mass pardons without President Biden's direct involvement. New reporting from the New York Times shows the auto pin process within the Biden White House. The report claims Staff Secretary Stephanie Feldman managed use of that auto pin. Senator, you are now asking for a lot of those emails to get to the bottom of this. What are you looking for?
Well, first of all, to set up a historical record. I don't like duplicating of effort, and I know, in the House they're focusing on the auto pen. I think the Department of Justice is focusing on the auto pen. What I am doing is we are calling in cabinet officials, the individuals who would be responsible for implementing the 25th Amendment. They swore an oath to the Constitution. The 25th Amendment is part of that. So we are in a very methodical way requesting interviews, transcribed interviews. We've done one. A bunch of cabinet officials are on vacation for the summer. But again, we'll take our time to create the historical record of what actually happened in the White House, what cabinet officials who would be in charge of implementing the 25th Amendment, what they knew, when they knew it, the documents that the archives is turning over to the Department of Justice. We'll ask for those same documents as well. I want to basically produce a complete record of this, a historical record, as opposed to just focusing on the auto pen issue, which others are looking at.
Look, the former President Biden jumped in this week to defend himself for these. Yeah, they were his decisions, he said, so on and so forth. If he didn't sign something and it gave clemency or fully pardoned someone, what does that mean? Is that document not enforceable? What does it mean?
Well, there's already precedent that a president can use an auto pen to conduct his affairs. I mean, that's already precedent. So again, if President Biden is saying he approved all of that, it's going to be hard to disprove that, isn't it? So again, what I'm focusing on is creating a historical record from cabinet officials, from other people who swore an oath, our transcribed interviews, and will then direct us if we need to interview other people, some of the same people that James Comey is talking to in the House. So again, I just want a complete historical record. It's going to take a little time.
Yep. So the American people know the truth. That's always the goal and very important. Senator, great to have you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.